afternoon, everybody. It's Miss Morgan with the Williston Community Library bringing you today's Teen STEAM activity. So today we are going to be carving pumpkins. From us, it's going to include your pumpkin as well as this little carving kit. So I went ahead and I printed a template off for myself of what I want to carve into my pumpkin. You can just make yours a regular jack-o'-lantern if you'd like, or if you'd like to print something off, you are more than welcome to do that. Or if you want to draw on your pumpkin in order to do something cool to it, you can do that as well. So I went ahead and I've already started by cutting the circle in the top of my pumpkin. That way you guys wouldn't have to sit and watch all of that. I have not gutted it completely or anything like that. And I also went ahead and put the thing I want to carve onto my pumpkin. I taped it on already, and I took some toothpicks and I made little holes so that I knew where I wanted to cut. I do have to finish the eyes on it, but first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the top off my pumpkin. So once you take your little knife that's given to you in the kit, you're going to take your top off of it. Some of you guys may not have already carved pumpkins before. Some of you may have. And you're going to want to take your top off completely and then scoop the pumpkin seeds and all of that out of your pumpkin. I'm just going to go ahead and use my hands here for a second because there's a lot of them. And this is going to be a little bit messy, but you can always wash your hands later or smell like pumpkin the rest of the day. It's up to you. So once you scoop all of your pumpkin seeds and everything out of there, what you're going to want to do is, if you're drawing on your pumpkin, you can do that. Or if you have something you want to carve, or if you're just doing a regular jack-o'-lantern, you're going to want to get those things ready. All right, so I'm almost done with taking out my pumpkin seeds. And there are a lot in mine. Each pumpkin will vary on how many you have, especially depending on the size and stuff. So now that I'm just about done with this, now I'm going to take my scoop back, and I'm going to do my top first and get the strings off of it. And like I said, it is messy, so you might want to put something down, some tablecloth or newspaper, something like that. I did put a tablecloth down because it will make cleaning up a little bit easier. Because like I said, it does get messy. If you can see my hand is completely orange. So I'm just about done with getting the inside cleaned out. And then we'll move on to the fun part. And like I said, you guys might have already carved pumpkins before. If you have, you don't even have to worry about the video. We're doing it just in case there are people who haven't had a chance to carve before. Or if you want to see how my pumpkin turns out, you're more than welcome to stay watching it as well. I don't really know what the stringy part of a pumpkin is, So that's why I just called it the stringy pumpkin parts. I don't know the technical term for it. All right, so I think I've got as much as I can out of there. You don't have to have it perfect. It's not going to be perfect no matter how hard you try, I feel like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready. Sorry. I'm going to get ready to finish poking the eyes out on my poking the holes for the eyes of what I'm carving. All right, so now that I have my seeds all picked out of it and everything ready to go, like I said, I'm going to poke the rest of my design in, which I'm going to have to turn my pumpkin towards me in order to do. So I'm just using a toothpick and making little holes so that I know where I need to cut it. And I'm going to try to get it to where you guys can see the little holes once I take my paper off, but I don't know if that will be possible because they are just so tiny. And if you do use a toothpick, you could also use a pencil. Anything that you have that will puncture the pumpkin will work. Or like this little tool. I just found that it's easier to poke the holes and take the paper off than it is to carve or with the paper on there, because the paper will get wet with the pumpkin and it'll just make it a lot messier. So now I have my design all carved in there. So let's take the paper off. And like I said, I don't know if you guys will be able to see all of the tiny holes, just due to how small they are. But they are, yeah, you guys can't see them. There's just a bunch of tiny holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it towards me once again, and I am going to begin carving where my holes are. And you want to make sure that when you are carving, that your knife goes deep enough that it will puncture all the way through. All the way through your pumpkin. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I tried to get it a little closer. Give me 1 second. And I'll bring the camera itself closer and see if that helps. So it will shake here for a second while I bring it closer and drop it down. Okay. So I don't know if that made it any better, but you can see kind of where I have already started to cut. So I'm going to bring it a little closer. And I'm going to just keep carving. And it's a little hard because I'm on the side here. So I'm going based off of where my holes are. I don't know if you can see the design yet, especially with my arm in the way. But there it is so far. And as you notice, I've been taking my carving tool out when I get to like the end of something, because it is kind of hard to go around with it. Okay, so I've got my outline done. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to do the eyes quick. And I'm actually going to poke that and pull it out. All right, so there is my eye so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. And pull that one out as well. And now I'm going to work on the mouth. All right, and I'm just about done with the mouth. And once again, I'm going to try to get this worked out of here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and carve out these extra pieces here. That way you can see in the mouth. Sorry guys, I dropped a piece. And I want to make sure that I don't accidentally make it smush. Alright, so now what I'm trying to do, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut this piece so that it's a little easier to take out. And then I'm going to do the same. That way I don't have to worry as much about it breaking. And there is my pumpkin. and hopefully yours turns out just as well. If you want to send us a picture, you are more than welcome to. I would love to see what your pumpkin turns out to look like. Let me run around to the other side quick. All right, but thank you guys so much for joining me today for the Teen STEAM activity. We hope that you have fun with this, and like I said, if you'd like to send pictures, we would love to see them. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.